There's this thing called the Seattle Hempfest. My friend Himesh and myself decided to check it out. Trail or some abandoned road, but this seemed pretty interesting. I wanted to make an episode out of it. Seattle Hempfest started off as a group of stoners in Volunteer Park back in 1991. Seattle Hempfest has now grown into one of the largest cannabis policy reform events on the planet. Come from the Olympic Peninsula, so we like to use the ferry system to get over to Seattle from time to time. Washington State ferry system was developed back in June 1951. Last year alone, the Washington State ferry system brought over 24 million passengers across the Puget Sound. Taking the ferry from Bremerton to Seattle is an hour-and-a-half crossing. There's a newer passenger-only ferry that's come around in the last couple of years that can make the journey in half the time. Seattle Ferry Terminal is also known as Coleman Dock, built in 1882 by Scottish engineer James Coleman. In 1951, Washington State bought the pier and utilized the space 10 years later for the Seattle Ferry Terminal. It takes a little more than a mile to reach the entrance to Hempfest. Every year, this event comes to Myrtle Edwards Park, located in the Ballard neighborhood of Seattle, along the waterfront. The main staging of the event occurs right here. However, you will find vendors past this location that stretch along the waterfront all the way toward Magnolia. There is a lot of opportunity for entertainment when you make your way from the ferry terminal all the way to Hempfest, whatever your choosing is. You just might end up spending more time along the waterfront than Hempfest itself. Street vendors will occasionally show up along the walking path. So on occasion, you will see street performers. Jokingly, having cannabis to consume at Hempfest is a bit of a necessity, but it's not a requirement. One of the best features about the Seattle Hempfest is there is no need to buy a ticket when you enter. You can walk in free and get your bags checked, and that's all that's needed. But after going to this year's Hempfest, it has been brought to the attention that in the last 3 years there have not been enough donations to keep the event going admission free. My arrival to Hempfest on this day was met with a lot of haze, brought in from the wildfires raging in Canada right now. There was a joke where I wasn't sure if it was wildfires or Hempfest going on. Bring in the haze.
And we know that hemp biomass could have prevented this, years ago. Henry Ford had a hemp car in 1938 that ran on hemp biomass. That's how long we've known that we didn't need fossil fuels. Look what's happening. Our country's on fire. Climate change is a severe threat to interstellar security, man. It's very serious stuff, and we need leadership which doesn't lie. We need leadership that respects science. We need leadership that doesn't call the media the enemy of the people. If you hear somebody saying the media is the enemy of the people, that's probably the enemy of the people.
Well, no joke. All we wanted to do was get there and listen to some tunes, but this quickly turned into something political that was just completely killing the mood. And we waited and waited to see when the tunes would come back on. And they just kept talking.
And thousands of consumers are using these natural cannabis products for a myriad of issues. And I'm finally, after all these years, able to pay my mortgage from the profits of my business. And I can't thank you all enough for the love and support that you've shown my...
Feeling like the music wasn't coming back quickly enough, we decided to leave. It was going to come back on, but it was completely killing the mood. And it does kind of make sense trying to bring a few points across on things that hemp can do, this and that, but it needs to have a good balance to it. I would make a suggestion of maybe adding some more comedians to this.
We can make it to Ferry if we start walking right now.
Still gotta pay for a ticket. Who knows how big the line is?
Lines are really
Talk about a serious change in air quality just in the course of a few hours. Thanks for watching. If you liked this episode and want to keep up to date on all the latest adventures I go on, click subscribe.